I created an addictive reading method that has enabled me to learn 30 new words per day, plus review previous words without any flashcards, and all whilst having fun. I'm going to show you this method step by step, plus 2 other methods that I use. We'll start with my favorite method, and to do this for yourself, you'll need at least 1 book in your target language. To keep things extra fun for me, I'm actually alternating between 3 books when I'm learning German and 3 books when I'm learning French, though just 1 book is totally fine. For this video, I'm going to demonstrate this in German. So the 3 books that I have are Ein Tagebuch für 4, Grow, Bloom, Be Yourself. This is basically a journal self-help mix mash of a book. And the final one is Short Stories for Beginners. The link to buy these books are in the description if you want to check them out. You are also going to need post-it notes and a pencil. Before we dive in, I do need to explain why I chose these books. I chose this book here because it is a graded reader, which means that it has been carefully written with simplified language, and it's also been crafted to include the 1,000 most frequently used words in the language. Plus, I've read this book in French previously and I found it really entertaining. These other 2 books I found in a German bookstore in the Jugendliche or the young adult section. This book breaks the text up, just makes it less overwhelming for me to read. There's even a lot of little pictures, and in this German journal, it basically combines pages of text. There's even quizzes and reflective questions, so it can even get some writing practice. So let's get into step 1. So you want to find a section of the text to start reading from. I'm going to start from here as this has already been done. Ideally, if you're at home, you will read this out loud just because then you get some speaking practice as well. When I don't understand something, I'm going to go back over and see if I can understand or if I can use the context to pick up on the meaning of the word. If I can't, I'm going to underline it with my pencil. Now, if you're someone who doesn't like writing in books, or maybe you have a library book or a book from a friend or something like that, that's okay. I will show you in the second step what you can do instead, but this is going to make things far easier and also make review a lot easier later on as well. VP könnte nicht nur Vizepräsident, sondern auch voll putzig bedeuten. Is it Witze? I'm unsure of the pronunciation. Sondern auch voll putzig bedeuten. I don't understand this. Ihr seid solche Scherzkekse. I thought Scherz was like a joke and Kekse is cookies. I think I understand this, but I'm going to check it as well. I've read through 3 pages now. I have about 11 words, and I'm going to stop there. And the reason I say to just do 10 or 11 is because that's how many words I will write, and it's going to fill up my post-it note. So I'm now just going to go through and find each of these words and write them down. If it is a noun, for example, here we have Scherz, Keks, I guess. So I'm just going to leave a little space because I'm going to also find out what the gender of this noun is. I'll confirm what the ending is here. So if you do not like to write in your books, that's fine. Just when you're reading it and you come across something you don't understand, just write it down then and there. Now what I'm going to do next is grab my phone. I'm going to open the dict.cc app. This is just a good dictionary for German. And I'm just going to put the words in here. Putzig means cute, peculiar. I still don't understand this. So now I'm going to ChatGPT and I'm going to put the word in here as well. Now I'm going to get a few more examples. You're just trying to pick up on the meaning through reading other sentences. Deine Mütze mit den Ohren ist echt putzig. Okay, so it does seem like it is cute. Vizepräsident. I wasn't sure how to pronounce that, so I'm just super quickly going to pop that in here. Play this.
Vizepräsident.
Vize, okay. So Scherz, I'm pretty sure this meant joke, yeah. And so Scherz, is it like a prank cookie or something? Der Scherzkeks? A joker, a wisecracker. Once my post-it note is all filled up, I go back to the start of the section where I started reading from, and I stick it down somewhere on the page. I'm going to read through what I've just read, but it's going to be a lot faster now because I understand already what this is, and I should be able to pick up on the new words, but I'm not going to actually read this note unless I need to. Now, I've read through it again, and it was very helpful. A sentence over here and a sentence over here worked together to kind of solidify the meaning of these words. Vizepräsident, sondern auch vollputzig bedeuten oder vollkommen perfekt. Ihr seid solche Scherzkekse, aber im Ernst, wenn schon, dann steht VP für voll professionell. Ah, okay. Now I understand, because they're friends, they're being sweet. Ihr seid solche Scherzkekse, aber im Ernst, wenn schon, dann steht VP für voll professionell. Professionell. Okay, I'm struggling with this word. Ich bin ausschließlich an den offiziellen SMV-Projekten interessiert. Solely, okay, so I had to check. Ich bin ausschließlich an den offiziellen SMV-Projekten interessiert. It feels so good that now I've just gone through this and it all makes sense. A lot of the time we get really demotivated with language learning. We feel like we're not progressing. We feel like we're just worse than everybody else. Here, you just cannot deny that you are learning, you are making progress. But you might be wondering how I learned 30 words per day when I've only mentioned 10 so far. Seeing the progress that I've been making in my target language whilst also enjoying the process of reading has been getting me hooked. I've been addicted to repeating this exercise a couple of times. But to keep it fresh and exciting, I have been changing books. So I grab my second book and then I just go and repeat the process with a different post-it note. But when I am reading the short stories book, I actually follow a completely different method. This is because the book is a lot easier for me to understand. The book has also bolded already a lot of more difficult or complicated words, and there's even vocabulary lists at the end of each chapter that have translations in English of all of these words. But the other reason why I use a different method for this book is because I also purchased the audiobook. I listened to the chapters repeatedly numerous times. So when I actually sit down to actually read the physical paper book, I will also play the audiobook at the same time. Now, because I've listened to it previously, I'm already pretty familiar with the story, and this frees up a lot of mental capacity for me to actually focus on seeing things that stand out. This could be a new vocabulary word that I don't understand, or it could be a grammar concept. When I don't understand something, I pause the audio. If it is a word of vocabulary, I'll put it into Reverser, Google Translate, or I'll ask ChatGPT for an explanation or to see even more examples of the word. I repeat this step until I'm finished the chapter. Now, the next day, I will listen to the audiobook again without reading the text, and I will specifically listen out for these new words and concepts that I've learnt. And it's through this repetition that I'm reinforcing the new words that I'm learning, plus also improving my listening comprehension. Now, the final reading method that I use is one that works absolutely anywhere because you just need your phone. And this is what I recommend for beginners, but it can also work for intermediate or advanced learners. So for this, you do need to sign up to Link. There is a free trial that you can try out. I will leave a link in the description if you're interested to give it a go. The reason why it is so good is because they have a bunch of short stories within the app in loads of different languages. Plus, they have a library of other books as well that many other users who use the app have imported. Plus, you can import your own content. So in French, I actually purchased an ebook and imported that into the app and read it there. It simplifies the reading process so much because when you don't understand a word or even a whole sentence, you can just tap on it and it will give you an instant translation. You can then see these words come up later and even review them with flashcards, but you can also translate multiple words in a row if you want to get an idea for how the word is in context. So I suggest subscribing to email newsletters, particularly if you spend a lot of time in your email mailbox. Another random tip, because I'm not religious, but in the past I have downloaded the Bible app. You can kind of pick any translation that you want, and I was reading the Bible in French. Ultimately, it's free. It gives you access to a lot of languages, and there's even an audio book. And when reading anything, it's really important that you get comfortable not understanding everything. Though I have talked a lot about marking new words and using these methods to grow your vocabulary, sometimes it is enough to sit down and read for the purpose of enjoying it and just try to focus on understanding the gist of the story and kind of try to stumble your way through it, because you are still spending time in that language. But for any of these methods, research shows that we need to see a word several times before we can actually use that word for ourselves. I'm somebody who just cannot be bothered to put all these words into Anki and every single day review the words and then come back and delete the words that I already know. I just can't be bothered. So again, I've had to create some methods that do work for me. The first and the easiest method is that the next time I pick up that book and I want to read it, I go back to either the last section that I was reading from, or just look and find where I have underlined some words, and I will reread those sentences. And then I can also skip a whole bunch of the text because I just look for the next word that I've underlined. I'm not reading the entire book all over again. And if I don't understand the word, then again, I will glance back at that post-it note and then reread the sentence and see if it makes sense. The next method that is also pretty easy is that I will open up ChatGPT and I will grab a book, find a post-it note, click in ChatGPT to dictate what I say, and I will just try to create my own sentence using one of the new words on this list. Finally, I often also ask for a correction or for ChatGPT to rewrite it using more natural sounding language. Very similarly but different, you could also start a conversation using the ChatGPT voice feature. You'll have your book with your post-it note in front of you. You'll just be trying to incorporate them into what you're saying as much as you can. You can also just write your own sentences using these words. However, I do prefer ChatGPT because I get somewhat of a correction afterwards. ChatGPT can make mistakes, but I still think that it's better than nothing. Check out this video here next to learn 25 ways in which you can make learning a language fun.